You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
Chiefs Kingdom, ACU crew. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. Microphone wasn't on properly, but it is now. Steve, what's going on, baby?
What's up, my man? Yeah, not much. Still riding out that Chiefs victory from the other night. What about it, baby?
Hey, victory for Baltimore. How you like that?
Love it. I love how much hate the Chiefs have been getting since then.
Ooh.
Like, Mike, we've seen it the last year or two, maybe a little longer, like the Chiefs slowly becoming the villain and people hating them. It's official.
Oh, boy.
Everybody hates the Chiefs, bro. And
they
I love
crying. They're whining. Good Lord. You'd think it was the worst thing ever to watch us win a football game at this point. And by the way, greatest player in the history of the game.
The greatest.
The greatest. Andy Reid, one of the top probably 3-4 greatest coaches to ever put the headset on. And every game that we play is only given to us because the officials won't call anything.
I mean, it is, right? I mean, those cheating
Jeez
referees.
What a group of crime babies.
They intervened and made Lamar forget how to throw a football, you know.
Hey, there's just a bunch of little titty babies out there crying around. Bunch of little preemie babies just crying.
Yeah, pop it out their mouth and grow up,
Shut
you know.
up.
It's about that time. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about probably the corners. We've seen a lot of like weird takes.
A lot of hate.
A lot of weird takes, man. Like after the game, I thought it was 98% positive how good the Chiefs started out, but people have been nitpicking, and the corners have been taking some heat, which is very weird and unwarranted. And you've also seen Kingsley Suamataia taking heat, which is weird and unwarranted. We're going to talk a little bit about that kind of stuff tonight, but appreciate you guys being here. Hit the like button for us real quick. It just takes a second, helps get more people in here, and we can have some fun. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, for whatever damn reason, do that right now because you want to ride with All Chiefed Up through this three-peat, baby. It's going to be a good year. So starting off on the right foot, or toe, should I say.
Starting off, we're just hoeing the waters here on the season is what we're getting ready to do. But I tell you, it's a good time, baby. It's a good time. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. Everybody needs to enjoy it. And lay off the corners, by the way. Look, Steve, everybody said the corners. We seen this the other night. Like, let's just jump right in here, okay? And then we'll start talking to the chat a little bit, and you guys can let us know what you think. We seen so much hate. Josh Williams, man, he just didn't look good. Nobody hardly mentioned Jalen Watson. Okay, that was weird. Jalen Watson's kind of excused. People love him for that one play he made versus the Chargers.
Yeah,
he's excused.
Hey, I love Jalen Watson.
Yeah,
too,
I love him too. But yeah, nobody says nothing about that. Nobody really calls out Chamari Connor, and Chamari Connor might have been the lowest graded DB of the entire room. Still didn't do bad. None of these guys done bad. But like at the end of the night, Steve, we had some prominent talking heads in the Chiefs community on X going around being like, oh my God, after tonight, it was obvious we missed L'Jarius Sneed. What are you talking about? Look, let me bring this up. Because nobody makes sense. Only All Chiefed Up makes sense. And
hey,
I don't know.
Without getting too far into it.
Oh, yeah.
How is that your takeaway from that game?
I don't know, because
That's
my
weird.
takeaway was the linebackers, in coverage kind of stunk.
Yeah, right. That's who I would be pointing
On the
things at.
rewatch, the linebackers in coverage kind of stunk. Okay, that's what it was. And to be honest, it's because Lamar Jackson, that double threat he proposes, you have to, Lamar holds out plays so long and can evade the defense and the defensive line and the blitzers for so long that it puts these guys in vulnerable situations. This is exactly what we said at the beginning of the season that would cause our corners to be vulnerable. And our corners did not play bad at all. Let's bring up the first graphic. Trent McDuffie, Papa McDuff over here, okay?
The Warden, baby.
The Warden. 56 coverage snaps is what he played on the night. So 56 times did he have to play coverage. They targeted him 3 times. He allowed 2 catches for 22 yards and had a PFF coverage grade of a 77.5. And by the way, getting a PFF coverage grade over a 70 in general is pretty freaking tough, dude.
Well, they didn't want to target him, right? And I figured that he might shadow Zay Flowers, which I think he was on him quite a bit. And there was that one play early where Zay Flowers got the best of him. We saw that.
That was the majority of his yardage, to be honest.
Right. But
After
what a
that,
game.
he locked it down. He locked it down after that. But here was CB1 on the night. And by the way, he didn't even play. He didn't play as much in the slot as we all kind of projected he was going to play. I want to say he ended up playing. Let me grab this info because I don't want to lie to you guys. He actually played 48 snaps on the outside and only played 21 in the slot. So pretty good. He played, double the time on the outside he did in the slot. So let's move on. Who played corner two? Corner two for the majority of the night, Steve. We thought it would be Josh Williams.
We were wrong, man.
They've decided to go with Jalen Watson, and that's fine. We said that they may do that. Look, Jalen Watson, 54 coverage snaps. He was targeted 6 times. He only allowed 4 catches for 35 yards and another 65.6 PFF coverage grade. And by the way, he led the team in 11 total tackles. This dude played 72 snaps.
Hell of a game from Jalen Watson, bro.
Yeah, he played 72 snaps at corner. He played 1 snap in the slot. He was in the box 1 time with the linebackers, and he played 3 snaps coming from the defensive line. This dude was going from everywhere, okay?
Hell of a game, dude.
Hell of a game.
Solid.
So we're at 2 catches for 22, 4 catches for 35.
Yeah, so 6 catches
45,
for 58
55.
yards. Is that right?
We're at 57 yards, 6 catches. Okay, that's it. So what did Josh Williams do? We missed Snead so bad. Josh Williams now comes in and plays 29 coverage snaps, 2 targets, 1 catch, 17 yards, and a PFF grade of a 69. And by the way, his 1 catch, Steve, was bogus as hell. Okay?
Yeah, I saw it.
They attributed a Justice Hill leak catch out of the backfield that went for 17 yards, and Josh Williams just had to be the closest guy up the field, and they attributed it to him. So, to be honest, Josh Williams didn't even allow a freaking catch on the night.
Yeah, because that's kind of a cheap one, right? That was just a good play call by the offense on that.
So there's our 3 guys at CB2. Najee Johnson, I don't think played hardly any snaps on the outside. I could be wrong, but I don't think he played many on the outside. But that's the 3 main guys that were playing corner, Steve. And at the end of the night, they allowed 7 catches for 77 yards against Lamar Jackson, an MVP quarterback. And we miss L'Jarius Sneed. Don't get me wrong, I love Sneed. But to have that take is ignorance.
That's
the last time we
dude.
played Lamar Jackson in the AFC Championship game. Do you want to know what just L'Jarius Sneed led up? 7 catches for 70 yards. Okay. No, it was 5 catches.
Him.
My bad. I misspoke. 5 catches, 70 yards. So we allowed 2 more catches and 7 more yards.
Then
but
he
we
did by
missed
himself.
L'Jarius Sneed so bad.
It's pretty wild to think
Come
about.
on,
man.
guys. We
That's
got to
such
do
a
better
weird
than
take
this.
to pull away from that game. It's a very weird take to pull away from that game. And like some of the guys that were saying it, guys and gals on Twitter that were saying it, it is what it is. They're just trying to get interaction more than likely, but some of them just don't really grasp the game of football as much as you would think they should for what they do. I mean, I actually saw one of them say that the Ravens defense had a false start, and I about fell off my chair. I'm like, why do people listen to this? What's happening? Like, we got to stop. But anyway, appreciate you guys being here. I see you guys in the chat. Let's go ahead and get to some of you. Shout out Scrambling Armchair. I see him out here. Hope you're doing well. I saw him up at 4 a.m. live streaming, doing the Lord's work one night.
He was doing the Chiefs' Lord's work down here at 4 a.m.
I was about to pass out, and I'm like, dude, he's on here going strong, man. Had to give that one a thumbs up. But shout out Greg Goodwin, member for 7 months, says the Ubernator is in the house. Hello, guys.
Let's go.
Appreciate that. We got freaking Jeremiah with 5 gifted. Appreciate you, buddy.
Jeremiah in the
y'all
house.
put some legendaries in the chat for Jeremiah. If you got one of those gifted memberships, make sure to thank him. We also got a new member, Charles Driver.
Charles, our boy Charles.
Welcome aboard. We got a freaking 20 bomb from
we're still
Greg Goodwin,
going.
too. We got to
I'm
keep
just
going,
applauding
baby.
everybody.
Let's just keep it rolling.
20
It says,
bomb.
Step 1 of the 3-peat is done, baby. You guys are the greatest.
The greatest.
Man, so it's a good way to start the season out, Greg. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think the game, look, I don't think as Chiefs fans, first and foremost, that's what we are. I thought we played well all night long. I didn't
honestly,
see hardly any phase that really
No.
chapped my ass.
I got one freaking critique all night. And it's the first game of the season, so I don't even really
What was your
think
critique?
some of the play calling and just taking the foot off the gas and not putting the game away. Just typical Chiefs stuff. Because they should have won that game by 3 scores. But they just couldn't get it done when they needed to get it done. There were several opportunities and they just couldn't punch the ball in. So I think it's the same typical thing from the last year or two. Like, guys, when we get on the other team side of the field, can we please punch the ball in for 7 instead of working Butker to death?
Yeah, I hear you. Appreciate the 20 bomb, Greg Good. We got a 2 bomb from Chief KT. He says, people don't bitch about refs when we lose, crying,
it's
laughing.
amazing, isn't it? Well, what I think's crazy is the people that were talking about the illegal formation calls. Like the refs just totally pounding Stanley there for the illegal formation, which, that was a point of emphasis for the referees, the same way what they were doing to Jawan Taylor last year. Last year when they did it to Jawan Taylor, the whole world got in on how Jawan Taylor sucked and the Chiefs suck, and this was funny.
And nobody cared.
Right.
They loved it. They wanted them to call it more.
This season, it's literally the end of the world, the refs for cheating.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about it, Mike. Stanley was in illegal formation, and he was being bullheaded. And when they called it the first time, I literally, if you go back and watch the tape, he scoots back. He's doing it intentionally. I think he wanted to make them keep calling it. He was just being a jerk.
He was pressuring the officials.
Yeah.
Look, Steve, we come from a basketball state.
Yeah.
We had one of the greatest basketball coaches probably to ever be on the sideline. We had one of the greatest basketball coaches that also done a lot of illegal stuff. And everybody knows who it is, Rick Pitino. When he coached at Kentucky, when he coached at Louisville, he won multiple championships. Yeah. And what did he do? He ran full court press, and he fouled, and he beat the crap out of you, and he forced the officials to either foul his players out or don't call it. And after a while, they stop calling it because it makes for bad TV, it slows the game down, and they get away with beating the crap out of you. That's what Ronnie Stanley was doing. He was calling their bluff and saying, look, you're either going to – look, Bill Belichick did it with corners. They'll beat you to death until they call this because they will stop calling it at some point. They could have called it a few more times. And I'll give the officials credit. They stuck to it right there at the beginning because they told him pregame. This is common knowledge.
They told him?
Yeah, they told him. They went to each team pregame and told those tackles, it was a point of emphasis, get your butt up on the line.
Which, you know what, I don't disagree with because I've noticed over the last couple of years, and I get it, the edge rushers are getting a lot more athletic. When you got guys out there on the edge like Micah Parsons that can run a 4.4 and stuff, it gets very difficult for these tackles.
Yeah.
But you've seen the offensive line starting to bow back to a point to where it's just unreal, like what we've been seeing the last couple of years. So I get it. Get your butt back up where you're supposed to be at.
There's a very easy way to prevent this, Steve, and they teach you this all the way back in Pee Wee football. You're going to learn it if you play line, and it's very simple. When the center lines up, the guards on each side will go to his foot, and they put their toe, and I know I'm going to talk about a toe here, but they put their toe, okay, here they are. You put your toe halfway through his foot, and then the tackle puts it halfway through the guard's foot. And by the end of it, from the bow is literally 1 foot length.
Where it's supposed to be.
And you are right where you're supposed to be. These guys are not doing it because you said it. The pass rush gets fast. They want to get an advantage. They've gotten away with it for years. The NFL's trying to crack down, and they called it. Could they have called it on Jawan Taylor a few times? Very possible. But when people were using certain pictures and stuff with Jawan Taylor.
Bad angles. I mean, what you can't tell.
They were bad angles, but Jawan Taylor was actually in the belt line. You have to be in the belt line. You can't be at the end of the butt.
It's really hard to see if they're on the belt line, too, if you're not perfectly on that line like the official.
Right. So, in other words, if you're saying they didn't call it on the Chiefs, but they called it on the Ravens, it's all because this masterful plan. Let's think about this for 1 second, Steve. The NFL has taken heat for 2 straight years because the Chiefs would have never won a game without the officials. Every game is the officials' problem. Every game is because we get all the calls, okay? And then last year it was Taylor Swift come in, and she influenced all the games. Okay, so now the Chiefs are in the spotlight from billions of people on this planet talking about how they cheat for the Chiefs. So on opening night, they are going to go in and cheat even harder on TV just to get all the eyes on them more. Like this is the plan that they're coming up with.
Well, I mean, most of the people talking about the refs cheating
Good night.
are on social media, right? And then you start looking into that.
Bunch of
98%
brain-dead
of them,
fools.
a bunch of casuals that don't even know the rules of football, but it is what it is. Shout out K Wayne, member for 11 months. Says let's freaking go. Where in the world are you, K Wayne? We might play
Wayne?
that one here in a minute. It's been a while.
We are going to play that in just a second.
Yeah, we have to. But first, we got a little something from our boy, Scrambling Armchair, with 35,
Scrambling,
baby. With a freaking nuke over here. You didn't have to do that, my man. You're out there working hard, too.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Jalen Watson tip, all-pro NFL MVP run. Man, I think Jalen Watson played a hell of a game. I really do.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'll be the first to say I was wrong. I really thought Josh Williams was going to win that role, and he didn't do it for whatever reason. Now, could it change later in the season, next year? Possibly. But right now, I think it's Jalen Watson's to lose, and the kid played well. He played very well.
Jalen Watson played his butt off the other night. Now, I will say they targeted him a lot more than anybody else. So he does something that baits in quarterbacks to target him, but he didn't give up a lot of yardage. He gave up literally, what was it again? It was he gave up 35 yards on 4 catches. I mean, that's not that bad.
Dude, if you told me that any corner on the team was going to let that up throughout the day, I'd be like, you know what? Let each one of them do it.
Yeah,
If that's all they're getting, then okay.
Right.
Sure.
Chamari Connor actually allowed more catches than he did. He allowed 7, and even Chamari Connor's catches only went for 37. I thought the Chiefs done a heck of a job on the back end, especially with Lamar. Because now look, I'm going to say this as well. The Ravens don't have the greatest receiving core I've ever seen. Rashad Bateman's kind of been a bust, but he was a first-round pick, right? Rashad Bateman kind of stinks. Devontae Walker didn't really get to play a lot. Zay Flowers is pretty good, but McDuffie shut him down. Like, it wasn't even close. The Ravens are kind of like, they're a little bit like the Chiefs were in years past, where they had that one guy that you had to take out of that game, and then they relied on the tight ends. And that's what they did. And Isaiah Likely's a good tight end. He's dumber than a box of rocks if he thinks that the Chiefs aren't going to get better as the season goes.
Well,
What an idiot that was. And then the cuss. Did you not see what happened to Nick Sirianni when he got the curse of the curse? You can't be cursing.
Well, I'll say this. Judging from post-game interviews, Isaiah Likely, Lamar Jackson, Roquan Smith, I think if you put the whole team's IQs together, you still got double digits. I do. Because these guys are...
I honestly think they all need to take practice off this week and get a team meeting and go to the freaking eye doctor.
Something's going on.
They need glasses because there's no way you can't see the toe over the line.
Yeah, but appreciate that, Scrambling Armchair. You guys, take a second. If you haven't, there's 564 people watching. Click that. Subscribe to his channel. He does good work.
Yes,
does a lot of in-depth explanation on stuff. Does really good work. So it's the kind of stuff you can just turn on, have it on while you're working around the house, driving the car, whatever. You'll enjoy it. So go do that.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, but I think overall, dude, the defense actually played pretty well. Like you said, I think the soft spot in the defense was the coverage of the linebackers. Nick Bolton had a rough night. Drew Tranquill isn't that great in coverage. He does okay. He's better than Bolton, but there's still a lot lacking there. I think, like you said earlier tonight when we were having a conversation at dinner, that you were like, I think if anyone was missed, it might have been Willie Gay, just not having that kind of guy in coverage. But, all that aside, I think we had one linebacker that really flashed, and that's Leo Chanel. He had a hell of a game, dude. Obviously, maybe not talking about coverage here, but I mean, Leo was out there doing the Lord's work. He was taking care of stuff. He was hitting people hard. Thank God he was okay when Nick Bolton kind of crunched his neck up there. So glad that didn't turn into anything. But Leo had a hell of a night, man. He was killing it.
Leo done pretty good, man. And look, I was a little hard on. I wasn't hard on Drew Tranquill, but I didn't say I don't think Tranquill was that effective. But when I did go back and watch some different things, Tranquill was lining up all over the field. The time that he hit Isaiah Likely so hard and caused him to tackle Derrick Henry was one of the best plays I've ever watched, by the way. I watched it about 7 times. This dude blows Isaiah Likely's world up, and he hits him so hard, Steve, he knocks Derrick Henry down. Like, imagine how hard you have to hit somebody to use him as a tackle dummy to beat him with. But anyways, Drew Tranquill actually lined up in coverage 35 times, okay? And by the way, 35 times he was in coverage. He did and I want to get these right for you. He lined up 10 times along the defensive line. He lined up 43 times, as a linebacker should, in the box. But he lined up 14 times in the slot. Drew Tranquil covered the slot receiver 14 times. And out of all that, he only allowed 2 catches. That's it. Just 2 receptions is all he allowed, and he was targeted 2. So he did give up 2 catches on 2 targets, but he allowed 7 receiving yards. Okay, so even Drew Tranquil had a pretty good day when it was all said and done. I think Nick Bolton was the only one that struggled. He's always struggled in pass coverage. And I said this.
Right, but
Bolton, look, they love Bolton. He's the green dot. Spags loves him. But he is the only one that we have not heard about adjusting their contract just yet. They've already redone a backup tight end at this point. They're looking into Trey Smith. When it gets said and done, Nick Bolton might be the one guy that he might not get that big money that he's looking for here.
we'll see. He's going to have to step it up just a little bit. But obviously, he was injured a lot last year. It was the first game of the season. I'm not looking that far into it because Nick Bolton's been a dog throughout his career. So I think he'll be just fine. He's that guy. He's normally around the ball. He's normally making plays, and I think he'll get back to that. But Leo sure looked that part Thursday night. So really digging that from Leo. Shout out Flapjack for the 2 bomb. He says Travis ain't about that life no more. Thanks for the gift.
Yeah, Steve Flapjack actually called out on the play where Mahomes was pushing Pacheco into the end zone, and then he gets up and he's army crawling. Kelsey was on the outside of the pile just watching. Like, he wasn't pushing. Right. He wasn't helping. And Flapjack thinks he checked out. Look, I'll say this. I watched some other plays, and Travis was right in the mix of it. Yeah. He knocked out Roquan Smith on one play. On that one play, it was a bad look. But I think at that point, I don't know. I'm going to give Travis Kelce the benefit of the doubt, Steve.
Yeah, for sure.
But going into Travis Kelce, and we pointed this out. I pointed this out to you last night. We played a fun little game. Yeah.
Well, first of all, remember like the post-game live stream when I was like, well, they just paid Noah Gray a lot of money no one was expecting.
Appreciate you, Flapjack.
They just paid Noah Gray paid him a lot of money no one was expecting. And they said they wanted to get him more involved in the offense. He was more involved in the offense than he usually is. He had a few catches there. And you notice Kelce was kind of a decoy 98% of the night, which that's not going to be every game, don't get me wrong. But I simply made the statement, are people going to start thinking, hey, is this where they're trying to pull back on Kelce, bring Noah in? Noah might be who's going forward. Travis Kelce now doing movies, TV shows, God knows what else. Is he only going to play this 2-year contract and be done? And is Noah Gray the one that's the successor here? And of course, everybody had a meltdown just because I proposed the idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to swallow for Chief fans.
And I don't even think that, honestly. I don't think that's necessarily it. I was just saying it could look that way from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But, let's talk about Travis Kelce's production.
It's a tough pill to swallow, to be honest. But Gary says, Mike, Steve, how do y'all feel about Travis Kelce? How do he play Thursday night? Look, I think that he done what the game plan called for.
Absolutely.
He was wiggling. He was still looking like Kelce on certain plays. But look, Kelce, we played this little game the other night. I was just looking through some stuff. I was bored. I text Steve, and I give him player A versus player B. And I'll kind of play it with you guys. And I'm not going to go as in depth with everything. But in the last 10 regular season games, okay, so the last 10 regular season games, excluding playoffs, I have 2 players for you. I'll give you player A and player B. You guys can decide which one you would take and let me know in the chat. So player A has 48 catches for 493 yards and a touchdown. That's it. 48 catches, 493 yards and a touchdown. That's all you really got to remember. I can add PFF grades and this and that, but you guys are going to say PFF subjective, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Player B, 47 catches, 479 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he's got 1 less catch. He's got 14 less yards, but he's got 2 more touchdowns. Do you take player A or do you take player B? I think most people would say it's a coin flip, to be honest, right?
It's pretty close, yeah.
It's pretty close.
But I think common sense would tell you to take player B. I mean, just 14 less yards and 2 more touchdowns. I think
you're substituting 2 touchdowns for. Here's the thing. One of these guys is Travis Kelce. Now, if that don't make you pause a little bit, that in the last 10 games, Travis Kelce in the last 10 regular season games has literally, Steve, 493 yards, which is only 49 yards a game, and he's had one touchdown in the last 10 games, playing with the greatest quarterback to ever lace it up that has a mental connection with this dude.
Obviously.
It's regular season. I've said that 17 times.
Right.
Look, Travis Kelce does good in the playoffs. He was fired up. He was injured a little bit last year, but still, it doesn't excuse that over the last 10 games, he's had 490 yards of production and one touchdown. To me, it feels like it might be just slipping just a little bit. The dude's not getting any younger. Okay?
Right.
And it could be wrong. But here's what's funny. Player B, by the way, if you want to take any guesses, was not George Kittle. It was not, Mark Andrews. It wasn't these big tight ends. It was Cole Kmet. Travis Kelce is literally giving you the production of Cole Kmet over the past 10 regular season games. Okay? And again, not hating on Travis Kelce. Just saying.
No, because, here's the thing.
That's something.
It goes much further than stats, too, because obviously Travis Kelce's on another level than Cole Kmet.
100%.
People are game planning for Travis Kelce. No one gives a crap about Cole Kmet.
Travis Kelce. You expect Kelce to have a little more production than Cole freaking Kmet. Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, the focus on Kelce is night and day different from Cole Kmet. But no, I get what the point you're trying to make is, and I think that's why they are trying to put more in.
Brad said he's never doing this podcast.
He wasn't going to do it to start with.
No, this dude makes billions of dollars, bangs Taylor Swift, and didn't they just sell their entire show to Amazon or something?
$100 million, bro.
That's a lot. Yeah, he's never doing this podcast anyways. He hates us probably. No, look, he shouldn't. This is all I was trying to make.
Kelce's the greatest of all time, bro.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say that, look, over the past 10 regular season games, I think everybody falls out of their chair a little bit when you hear Travis Kelce in 10 regular season games has one touchdown.
That's because you think about Travis Kelce, you think about like a 4 or 5 touchdown game he had against the Raiders.
You think about him being just dominant,
crushing the Chargers here and there.
But we're not seeing it. And so this is my whole take out of all this. If he can get it back to normal, how much better is the offense? How much better do we look a little bit? You know what I'm trying to say? As good as we looked the other night, could you imagine Travis Kelce doing his usual 80 yards a game and trying to get a tutty like almost every other game?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons why. You did mention it was last 10 regular season games. And something that kind of makes you think, like, why weren't the stats more is because we had ass wide receivers. But then again, that's probably exactly why it was low. Because he was literally, they laser focused in on Travis Kelce last year because there was nobody else.
Yeah.
So I think this year, you're going to see a much more productive season from Kelce.
Right.
100%. There's just so much going on in that offense. So many players. You're going to have Hollywood and Xavier Worthy stretching the field. There's going to be space in the middle. The way Rashee Rice was eating up the Ravens, people have got to pay attention to him. So I think that Kelce is going to have a good year. He really is.
I think he'll be back and be more dominant.
And
again, for the 30th time, just so nobody gets it, confused. That wasn't an exercise in trying to say nobody likes Kelce, he's fallen off the bandwagon. I don't think that he's done that. I'm just saying that maybe, Steve, you had a point that maybe Kelce's production is not going to be super elite all the time. He's getting a little older. Maybe that's why they paid Noah Gray so much, because I feel like they overpaid him according to a lot of people. That's a lot of money back up. Well,
I think I've been saying this ever since we started this show, man. I think there's more to Noah Gray than y'all know about.
About
that you know about. I think he's could be an offensive weapon. I think there's a lot to him. I think they really like him, obviously, or they wouldn't have paid him that much money.
If Travis Kelce, if honestly they pull back, because they asked him the other day if they were going to pull back on his play count, he said no, he wasn't going to hear it. He wasn't going to listen anyway.
I don't think they will much.
But if there is something to that, and you start allowing the guy to maybe pull back and not be such a focus and not beat up his body so bad, and you can extend him by 3, 4, 5 years, and maybe he plays for 5 years rather than 2 or 3, I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with it. And that's the thing, man. Like Noah Gray, like I said, I think there's more to him than meets the eye. He's been playing behind the best tight end ever for 3-4 years now. It's 3, I think. This is his 4th season. Am I right there?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think it could be a good thing going forward. But I also, when they put Jared Wiley on the field the other night, by the way, he's a monster, bro.
Yeah. He
That
didn't get to
guy
play many
is
snaps.
freaking huge, though, dude. Like, I think if they do get him in some kind of red zone package, he could be a menace because he is a monster. Like, he looked head taller than everybody else.
I still think by the end of the year, though, Kelsey is going to get close to the 1,000 yards. I'm sorry, I almost said 100. The 1,000 yards. And then what was the line on his touchdown catches? 6? I still think he gets there. I still think by the end of the year, Kelsey's somewhere between 900 and 1,100 yards. He's going to be somewhere between 6 and 10 touchdowns. And I think he's going to be on the higher side. He's probably going to be somewhere around 7 or 8. Like, I still think he's effective. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you really compare him to somebody and then you're like, over the last 10 regular season games, he put up what Cole Kmet did, I think you would fall out of your chair over that. And I did.
Yeah.
You just don't think about that.
But like I said, they're just so much more than stats.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, like, these defenses have to pay attention to Kelsey.
Yeah, I think they did.
That's a
the other
plan
night
for
too.
Kelsey.
Yeah, they were
Do
trying.
you think there's
to hope
ever
Kelsey
been a
wouldn't beat them.
defense in the history of the National Football League that had to prepare for Cole Kmet?
Good Lord, no.
Exactly. That's
Do you
my
remember
point.
when you remember when
Right.
Cole Kmet was rumored to be the guy that was hanging out with Jeffree Star last year that set the world on fire?
Yeah, I remember that.
What was that about? Like, why was that a thing for like 3 weeks?
I don't know.
Freaking
Jeremiah,
Will Compton bringing it
member
up.
for 9 months. Jeremiah has been a member for much, much longer than 9 months. YouTube is a slapnut sometimes. The Chiefs hate is real. I remember back when Brady and the Patriots got the calls when it mattered, but they made plays when it mattered. Now it's the Chiefs making the plays when it matters. Three-peat, bitch, you can't stop it. That's the thing, man. Like, people hated the Patriots for the same reason they hate the Chiefs. They won a lot. They were tired of it. I get
Yeah.
it. But the difference is like, you can't put them in the same category as the refs cheat for them or this and that, because the Chiefs haven't done anything. Like, the Patriots were proven cheaters. Like, not one time, not 2 times, but 3 separate occasions.
They were recording practice. What all were they doing? They were deflating balls. and-
Spygate, Deflategate, you had the freaking tuck rule. Dude, it was one thing after another with those guys. The Chiefs haven't done anything. Like, they literally, the refs, whether the call's good, bad, whatever, I mean,
Hey.
whatever, dude.
Deflating balls, man. The only thing we're doing is we're getting them horned a little bit is what's happening in the kingdom. Okay? I don't think that's illegal.
Yeah, shout out Jared with the 2 bombs. That's productive as in not being number 1 as much. 100%. I think Kelsey's going to have a big year this year. Obviously, it's off to a slow start, but man, he was such a decoy last Thursday night. Like, Kelsey opened it up for Rashee Rice. He opened it up for everybody else. Like, when you have to double team Kelsey every play.
Whew. Rashee Rice had a day.
Did I just get you horned up because I mentioned the name
You
Rashee
did.
Rice?
Just saying the name Rashee Rice.
Calm
and by the way,
down a
there's
little bit.
another cheat. You know, I can't believe he hasn't been suspended yet. We even had prominent people on the night of the game throwing that out on X. Like, prominent reporters were putting that out, Steve, trying to engagement bait because Rashee Rice was tearing up the Ravens, and he should have not even have been on the field. I get so tired of hearing about people crying and whining.
Just
about
being
the
dumb,
Chiefs.
dude. It's just click here,
Clickbait.
respond.
100%.
Mike, we know all about that. We're kings of it.
that's what they
TGZ
say.
with the 5 bomb says Noah showed his potential to earn his salary last game, in my opinion.
He almost got in the end zone, didn't he?
I think we've seen it in flashes over the years, and I think once he's more high volume, I think Noah Gray can be good. Like, a lot of times when, like, Noah's in there in small chunks, and sometimes when he catches the ball, he'll almost remind you of Kelsey. Like, the way he moves.
He's got the
way-
ability to make a spectacular catch, too. Do you remember the catch versus the Titans a few years ago?
Yes.
Dude, he can go up and get
I think
the
that
ball.
one, like, capped the game pretty much. It's like was that an overtime?
Yeah, that was an
Like,
overtime.
3rd down? Yeah, dude. That was a catch.
Yeah, I like Noah Gray, and I do think Jared Wiley's got a pretty bright future.
Yeah.
The one thing about Jared Wiley that's going to take him a little bit more time than we think is because he is such a big guy, he's got such a big frame, his shimmy and shake isn't gonna beat as many guys in the NFL as it did in college. So does that matter? He's so huge, you kind of just put the ball up and let him go get it. And I think they're going to use that in red zone, different things. It wouldn't surprise me if Mahomes don't hit him a few times over the middle for 20 or 30, kind of like he did Jody Fortson there. But we'll see. But appreciate you, TGZ.
Yep. Shout out about time. We got a freaking 2 bomb. Says, can we get a suck it for the haters? Of course we can. Here we go.
Suck it! Suck it! We got 2
Man, what
Let's
about
go.
Chris Jones, brother? He's out there telling the world to suck it, but he was telling their offensive line to suck it. He was a straight menace the other night.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, man.
They couldn't do nothing with him, dude. Do you like how they pointed out that he was just moving up and down the line wherever he wanted to go just to pick on people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Schmo says, so effing weird and corny. So never mind he's being double teamed every game. Never mind no one else was there to keep defenses honest. Still trying to be hot take artist. Same production as Cole, whoever. No, Joe Schmo. I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's trying to be a hot take artist.
We touched on every one of those points.
Times. 7 freaking times did I say, okay, that it was just weird that him and Cole Kmet had the same production over the last 10 games. Okay? Joe Schmo, I'm going to tell you something. Send this to me in a letter, okay?
Oh, God, here we go.
Write it down, send it in a letter, send it in my P.O. box. We need something to wipe our ass with, okay? Get the complaints off the screen. Just because I'm saying something don't mean I'm a hot take artist. It means that I just observed, okay?
I tried to take it off the screen since you demanded it, but, you know.
Just observed that he's not putting up the same production over the past 10 games. It's okay. It's natural. The dude's 55 years old, and all of his injuries or all of his energy's going to please Taylor. Okay,
Right.
Don't care.
Man, McAberry, everyone was gassed in quarter 4, dude. When you chase around a running back playing quarterback all night, who literally is only looking to run the ball and is drawing
bad.
every play out to 15 seconds, 20 seconds, like it's annoying. And our defense, it was the first game of the season. So there's that. But normally Andy has his teams in pretty good shape. So I think they're probably in just as good or better shape than any defense starting the season out.
Steve,
I think
somebody
anybody
said
would have
that
been gassed at that point.
Yeah,
Yep.
Ravens fans said that we just don't give Lamar Jackson enough credit. And
Man,
I think they're lying, but we said he's one of the best running backs in football. I don't know what I can say other than that.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, I will give Lamar credit. He is one of the best athletes in the NFL. He's fun to watch if you like that sort of thing. Like, if you're just looking for somebody to make a
If
big
that's your
run,
cup
do
of
something
tea.
crazy. But first of all, I absolutely hate watching the Ravens play football. It's boring. It's terrible. It's like watching a high school team. I can't stand offenses that can't do much more than run the same play over and over again. It's pathetic. And I think that's a lot of the reason why the Ravens lost the game against the Chiefs is because they're a one-trick pony. Like, if Lamar couldn't figure something out, it wasn't going to happen. And what that did open up was for Big Mouth Isaiah Likely to get a couple big plays, because once you run around so often, something's going to bust up, right? And props to Lamar for finding it and finding where the defense broke down. But yeah, those guys were gassed, dude. It was pretty obvious.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Steve, a lot of people didn't think Jawan Taylor had a good game. Yeah, Artie's one. He said 74 has to be great at blocking to not get benched. I think Jawan Taylor's fine when he's on the field. People do not like, they don't like that he times that snap the way he does. People just don't understand that too well, do they?
No, but
Dude,
it's
again,
weird.
all we seen on X was clips. Their tackle's moving every play too early. He's moving nobody is
It's
ever
really
going
weird.
to understand that.
Like, somebody took a clip and they were going back and forth showing that he was rocking, right? But in the same clip, you could watch the ball rock back and forth where Creed was snapping it.
Right. They
It's like-
think, Steve
it's
Casuals think that
simultaneous.
the ball has to be all the way out of Creed's hand or something.
Right, and here's another thing. Like,
Jeez
that was
Louise.
in super slow motion. So you're trying to tell me that, like, eyeballing it, like a referee on the sideline, if it's simultaneous, even if it's off by a millisecond, they're not going to see that with their eye. It looks like it's the same
It's
time.
reaction. The
It's
only thing
wild.
he's doing,
He does jump offside sometimes, and they call it, obviously.
they got him once.
Yeah.
But look, the thing he's doing is he's learning the snap count, he's learning the cadence, and him and Creed work together, and he knows how Creed does what he does. Creed always tilts the ball a little bit, or he'll do the ball something before he snaps the ball. He's
Right.
working with him.
There's no difference between him and Lane Johnson, guys. Go watch the Eagles play. Lane Johnson does the same thing. Lane Johnson also got called for it last night on national television. So it's just it's part of it. But I mean, that's what makes them good at their job.
Yeah, and I get the frustration with him because, he was the most flagged person in the league last year. Look, well, guess what? Ronnie Stanley's going to be that this year more than likely because they started off giving him 5 in the first game.
They drew him out of the hat this year. They're like, Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah, last year it was Jawan Taylor. This year it's Ronnie Stanley. So congrats. There you go.
Yeah, well, they were trying to say that he was, illegal formation too, but I didn't see it. I really didn't, and that's not just being a homer. I didn't see Jawan Taylor in illegal formation.
Right.
I thought our line looked pretty good.
Steve Ian asked, who are you going for, the Jets or the Niners?
I don't care, bro.
I'll take the Niners, though.
Yeah, I think they'll win the game. Do you really think the Jets are going to be anything? So much hype. Like, first of all, Aaron Rodgers played the whole season. And even if he does, do you think they're going to be that great?
No. Did you see the dude on did you see the guy on ESPN that just absolutely blasted Greeny and Bart Scott for being Jets homers?
Mm-mm.
He's like, y'all do this every freaking year, and I'm so tired of it. He's like, Jets this, Jets that, and they suck. Like, he just raged, dude. I told him he was doing the Lord's work for calling him out on it. There's nothing more annoying than, like, teams that are never relevant trying to be relevant. The Bengals, the Jets, like, do something first. Okay, just do something first.
They're not going to, bro. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they do have a really good team on paper, and they've had so many first round picks in the last 3 years. They should. So they got pieces in place. We'll see how it goes. But honestly, like when it comes to other games, I don't even care who wins. But I think 49ers will win the matchup. 49ers are an interesting team, right? I mean, obviously, this is somebody that's just had so many struggles with the Chiefs. Lost 2 Super Bowls. By all means, if it wasn't for the Chiefs being in full dynasty mode, the 49ers possibly could be on the verge of dynasty mode themselves. And the Chiefs just keep shutting them out. Do you think they will be able to make it back in this year, or do you think it's more of a Super Bowl hangover type year for them?
They got to get Trent Williams signed. Have they gotten him signed yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if they got him signed, they should be okay.
They got Trent Williams.
It should be fine. I haven't paid too much attention to the league. I've been like watching the stupid Chiefs versus Ravens game for the 37th time in 3 days. So It makes tough watching film because I have to watch the whole game, watching like say Trent McDuffie, and then guess what? You start the game over and you watch every snap of Jalen Watson. Then you start the game over and you watch every snap of George Karl. So by the end of the day, I've watched this game literally 77 times.
Yeah.
I can tell you when Lamar Jackson farted in the second quarter.
Look,
okay?
man.
It's annoying.
So obviously Lamar Jackson is a quarterback for the reason of running the offense and making more money. But if he was smart, I would think about signing with the Chiefs as a halfback and playing behind Patrick Mahomes, because that, my friends, that is where he could shine.
Yeah, but he makes more money playing quarterback. So
That's what I'm saying. He's not
going to do it.
But if he wants to get some rings, baby.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Lonnie says, can you guys let me know that Bolton will be okay? I think Bolton in the long run will be fine.
Bolton, hasn't Bolton been okay his whole career?
He struggled a little bit this game, but again, he missed some time in the preseason. So I think he was getting his legs underneath him. Bolton has never been a guy that's going to defend well. That's just not his game. Bolton reminds me of a guy, Steve, that would have flourished back in like the 80s playing linebacker.
Bolton's going to flourish anyway. I think Bolton's the dog, man. He's been like the leading tackler on our team and the league a couple, like 1 year. But Nick Bolton is going to do what Nick Bolton does. And if somebody has a bad game here or there, it doesn't bother me much, especially when it's been a guy as consistently good as Nick Bolton. And, like Mike, we always give the players a little bit of grace here, right? Like Felix being a slow starter. We've even thought maybe Sky Moore can eventually do something, and obviously they didn't have any interest in him playing football the other night. But we always give a little bit of grace here. I think you have to give a player that's done what Nick Bolton's done to this point. Nick Bolton can have a couple bad games, and I'm not going to worry about Nick Bolton.
Yeah, I think Nick Bolton will be fine. I really do.
Yeah.
Is he going to get that big money that those linebackers are pulling? I don't know.
No, but I think they can get him paid a decent amount.
I think they can agree on something that may not be as big as people think it could be.
Nick Bolton strikes me as a guy that might want to be a Chief and might, not just be chasing as many dollars as he can get. So we'll see. And here's the thing, like you said, is he going to get that much? I don't know. Maybe there's not another team that'll offer him anything, I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, true.
Because I think Nick Bolton's like more valuable than us than other people even think about. Like they tend to forget him when they're talking about the best linebackers in the league or this or that, or his name doesn't come up. It's not something like that. So I mean, but to us, he's been invaluable for a couple of years now.
Right. Gary asked, did we see Creed destroy that guy Worthy ran by for his touchdown? Yes, Creed. Look, he was Martha Stewart out there. He's just making pancakes everywhere. He's panking. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. Kelsey had a
dude,
good block on that play too. And something, I didn't mean to cut you off, but something that really impressed me about that play in particular is the fact that was a jet sweep to the right side of the field, all the way up by the end zone. Guess who was there blocking up there? Kingsley Suamataia, the left freaking tackle. So that shows you what that kid can do.
Because it wasn't really a jet sweep. It was almost like a reverse.
It's a reverse. It was more of a reverse.
Yeah, it was basically a reverse, but it almost it was a kind of a weird play. Do you think the Chiefs are going to go back and maybe use that same play Lamar and them ran earlier in the first it was the first drive when they motioned Derrick Henry one way and then motioned the other guy the other way and then Lamar kind of run out? That would have been a beautiful play for like I guess Pacheco could run it, but I mean, that would almost be a beautiful play with somebody in the backfield like a Xavier Worthy or something, and Mahomes being able to flip him the ball like that. It was pretty nice. But yeah, dude, Creed looked good on that play. Creed looked good all night. He held his own pretty well because Matabuke is pretty good. Like, that dude is a top 3, 4, 5 defensive tackle in football.
Yeah, man.
And he didn't really they wasn't making that much noise, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I really like what I saw from Kingsley so far. I have a lot of confidence in that kid. I think he's going to be good. But one other thing I wanted to bring up about the game, Mike, is, everybody talked about how it was such a close game, this and that. Well, to me, obviously it was a close game, and obviously it was pretty competitive. But to me, watching that game, I feel like it was obvious to anyone watching the game that the Chiefs are the superior team. I feel like the game was in their hands the whole time. I feel like at any time they could have blown that game out. Like put it away. It just didn't happen. And you have to remember there's two plays from two running backs that were easy touchdowns that they didn't connect just right. It was like the passing game. The first play was that the wheel route to Isaiah Pacheco. Beautiful play, wide open. If he catches that and strides, touchdown easy. And then Samaje Perine, him and Mahomes were a little off there, and he couldn't ring that one in. That was an easy touchdown as well. There were times the Chiefs could have been ahead in this game by 3 touchdowns and it not have been this close. So I don't know. Did you get the same vibe when you were watching the game? Like, it wasn't really as close as it looked like on the scoreboard?
Yeah. I think the Chiefs honestly could have put that game away a few times. There was one time, it was right after... When was it? I want to say it was right at maybe the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter or something like that. If the Chiefs would have just scored a touchdown there, they were up by double digits, and they probably – look, if you could have forced Lamar from playing behind by 14 points or more, he probably don't sit around and run all the time out of the pocket because he knows he has to pick up more than 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards, right?
Correct.
He's got to start pushing the ball down the field, and we know accuracy is not Lamar's game. And a lot of people keep calling out that Zay Flowers touchdown. That was miscommunication there. That wasn't because Lamar Jackson missed him by 45 yards behind him. That was just pure miscommunication.
Right. Well,
but Lamar really does have some issues.
Yeah, Antonio Brown pointed that out on Twitter and said that was Zay Flowers' fault.
It was.
He said that he should have been finding a soft spot in the end zone, and Lamar threw it where he's supposed to.
He should have sit down, and he didn't sit down. He kept going. I seen that when it happened. I even laughed because I was like, dude, I give Lamar Jackson a lot of crap, about being a running back. But I was like, that was totally Zay Flowers' fault. He had to go. He had to stop and sit down, and he didn't do it. And I was like, people are going to roast Lamar Jackson for that.
Antonio Brown said that's common sense, like day one stuff a receiver should know is when that's going on, you find a soft spot in the end zone, you get there. And he just kept running. So that might have been on Zay Flowers. But they had their opportunities, man. They did. So, I mean, I don't feel bad for them that they lost by a toe. Like, they had their opportunities. The Chiefs let them hang around way too long.
Honestly, if Spags should have played that last drive differently. I thought that, look, if we get in that situation again, I thought the way the defense, now I do know they were a little gassed. It was the first game of the year and they were gassed.
They were. 100%.
But listen, we had two timeouts in our pocket. Okay? 2 timeouts in our pocket. When there was 10 seconds left, and they had a guy injured over there on the sideline. Okay, remember Justin Reed pushed him out and he hurt himself. Isaiah Likely,
Right.
who finally come back anyway, right? You had the opportunity after that play to call a timeout at the 4 seconds and give your guys some extra rest. You could have seen how they were lining up on the field and called another timeout. You could have utilized 2 minutes of timeouts to give your guys some rest, to rotate some more people. How funny is it that you had Jaden Hicks, who destroyed people in the preseason, didn't get a single snap? Okay,
Right,
They didn't use Jaden Hicks one.
I think
snap.
he could have been very effective against Lamar Jackson.
Could have been.
Yeah.
And then also, you know that they have no timeouts. They've got to drive the length of the field. And what do? You're supposed to take away the sideline and make them use the middle of the field. And instead, every single completion was to the sideline and they got out of bounds. They were able to march up the field in 7 plays and 6 of them got out of bounds.
A lot of it was the same play, just that little
Exactly.
out
So,
to
to
Isaiah
me,
Likely, just wide open.
Horrible defensive scheme there. It wasn't like a prevent defense, because you remember the old prevent.
It was
and
something
it
along those
prevents
lines,
you from
though.
winning, right?
It was,
what?
it was definitely along those lines, though.
Yeah, it was something weird that allowed the sideline too much. And I get it. You're like, oh, it's only 7 yards. But it's 7 yards and they get out of bounds. It's 7 yards and they get out of bounds. Like, you're giving them the out of bounds and the clock stopping. And the friend was our clock, because the one play that they did have to chunk off 30 seconds, it dramatically got weird after that for them because they had to start pushing the ball, right?
Right.
So I just felt like that was weird and could have been handled a little different. Again, every time I say something, it's because I hate Spags or somebody else. It's just an observation. It's like me and Steve's having a beer at the bar and you're overhearing it, okay? Like, quit taking everything so seriously. When did the internet turn into a bunch of Karens?
You should know we love Spags here. We had to defend him to the death last year. Cherry, I advise you, before we even start talking about this again, just go back and watch the beginning and we'll tell you why you're wrong. The secondary didn't look horrible. The secondary was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I appreciate you watching, but I
Yeah.
just look, and I know people are saying that online, but look, it's just not true.
Now, I can kind of vibe with you on the D-line needs help as far as Jones goes, but I did think they
yeah.
played okay. But George looked a little pedestrian. So did Mike Dana. Turk had a hell of a game, actually, if you go back and watch it. Turk Wharton was a
Derek
menace.
Nottie stunk. He had Derek Nottie could have tackled Derrick Henry that one play. It just runs right by him. I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm with you. The defensive line, you do make a point there. The defensive line's weak.
But-
Steve, I've been saying it all year. It's just weak until Omenihu gets back.
Yeah, when Omenihu gets back, and then George is going to pick it up too, dude. I think, and Mike Dana is Mike Dana. He's been
He'll show up
himself
against the Chargers.
Yeah. So I mean, I think
Do you
they're going
find
to
it
be
weird,
fine.
Steve, they didn't play Cam Thomas a single snap?
Yeah, well, I think
How hard is it to put a guy on the field? He was dressed.
yeah.
Okay. He just didn't get in. How hard is it to go in on third down and be like, look, dude, play some contain on Lamar and go get him?
But I get it, man. Spags' defense is pretty elaborate, and you'll see those guys doing a lot of things, dropping into coverage. They move up and down the
I
line.
still think the dude's smart enough to have figured it out to be able to play 5 plays.
He'll get in there. He'll get in there. I really do think he'll get in there. So it doesn't surprise me that he didn't play the first game. I think it's like the timing of that going on. He's only been around for a week.
Yep. Paul says third and long defense wasn't good. We didn't cover Hill consistently. Steve, this is a thing. The Chiefs getting third and long, and we allow so many stupid plays over the middle, or so many running back catches
Yes.
out of the backfield, and they chunk off the first down on like 13 yards and 14 yards. It's absurd. We do this all the time. This has been an Achilles heel for the Chiefs defense over the past 2 to 3 years. If they could
Yes.
ever clean that up,
The middle of the
we
field's
would be
always
a
a soft spot.
dominant defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Dominant defense if they could clean that up. But Steve, the middle of the field, soft spot, you said it.
Well,
It's
you
Nick
can't-
Bolton a lot.
Well, you can't be perfect either. And the way a lot of the scheme goes, like most of the time when they hit those middle of the field plays on third and long, it's always initially the defense is 100% excellent. And then what happens? It turns into a broken play, it gets stretched out, and then you got a drag route coming across the middle or something like that. So, I mean, the fact that happens is not that odd to me, because usually a busted up play like that, you're going to probably catch a soft spot in the middle of the field. But that's just on the offense taking advantage too. It just so happens that I feel like a lot of the time these teams play pretty well against the Chiefs, and they make plays that they don't normally make, and it's just something that we see a lot. But I agree, that's probably the soft spot of our defense is the middle of the field. And it just sucks that it rears its ugly head on 3rd and long a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, but look, I think they're going to be fine. Again, playing Lamar Jackson is a different beast. Why do you think the Ravens win a lot of games? It's not because they're an overwhelmingly great team. Like, don't get me wrong, they're good at certain positions and they're decently coached, things like that. But Lamar wins a lot of games, and the Ravens win a lot of games because it's a different breed of quarterback that you do not see a lot. It's hard to game plan for that. You don't see it week in and week out. So the one time you do see it, it kind of catches you off guard. Yeah. Because like you said, Steve, Lamar Jackson's a heck of an athlete, dude. Like, he really is. He's tough. Yeah. He's slippery. I swear this dude bathes in baby oil before he gets out there because you can't grab him.
Man, he's good. He's good at what he does. That's the thing about it. You don't have to like it, and I don't particularly care for that style of quarterback, but he's good at what he does. So it is what it is. Shout out Damo, member for 4 months, is horned up after that first dub. We all are, baby. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a fun one, you know? It's going to be a good time. Speaking of that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go hit that subscribe button and hang out with us this season. We're chasing that 3P. It's going to be a good time. We do tons of Chiefs content, so make sure that you go hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't hit the like button yet, guys, do your boys a favor. Go hit that like button just real quick. Help this get out to more people. We'd appreciate that. Also, shout out everybody that's been supporting the channel tonight, gifting out, supers, all that stuff. You guys are also super appreciated. Make sure to get your questions in the chat, by the way. If there's any parts of the game that we have not talked about or any specific position or something that you all would like to discuss that we haven't talked about, get it in the chat. We'll talk about anything at this point. Kind of going to put this on you guys, see what you guys thought about the game. Just the observations that I had and Mike have had, and we'll recap just real quick for those of you that came in late. The cornerback position did pretty damn well. Like everybody's saying we missed L'Jarius Sneed. That's weird. That's a weird take coming from this game. The corners played well. All of them played well. Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie, Chamari Connor, they all did a good job. What we did see was the linebackers not being great in coverage, so that was something we pulled away, something that the team has to work on. Offensively, the Chiefs have got to put the ball in the end zone when they're in position to do so. They can't take 3 every time they're on the opposing team side of the field. And we've seen it in the preseason. We've seen it again in the first game of the season, and that's what made that a close game. Otherwise, the Chiefs were head and shoulders a better team than the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. Was there anything that was kind of weird? I thought it was weird that Jaden Hicks didn't get to play any. I actually thought that was strange. 0 snaps. I actually said that Jaden Hicks tried to crush somebody. I think I said it in the post game. On rewatch, that was not Jaden Hicks. Like, my bad. I thought I seen number 21. It was actually 27. That 7 looked a lot like a 1. So that was Chamari Connor. Made sense. Chamari Connor missed a few tackles. But yeah, I'm surprised that Jaden Hicks didn't get to play any. And another surprise for me really was the split between the cornerback 2 and Josh Williams and Jalen Watson. Again, Josh Williams only got to play 32 snaps. Jalen Watson ended up playing 77. So he doubled him in snaps, which was a little odd. And then another thing I found odd, Najee Johnson didn't get a single snap on the defense. Isn't that a little weird? Because I thought that there was doing more of a committee. I still think they do more of a committee.
Hell of a special teams tackle from Najee.
Right. That was good on Najee because we needed that. But wasn't it kind of odd, though, that you didn't see Najee on defense not a single time? You didn't see Jaden Hicks on defense a single time. And then I would have never really thought that, again, Jalen Watson's going to play CB2 77. He only played 3 less snaps than McDuffie did. McDuffie played 80. And Jalen Watson played 77. So I think they made it known that he's the guy right now. It's his spot to lose.
Randy says it's not a weird take that the corners were whatever and they missed Snead and all that. Joe Burrow's not missing those throws. I think you got to look at it a different way, Randy. Joe Burrow is not going to extend plays to the extent of Lamar Jackson.
100%.
So he's not going to have those busted plays that
You know
last
how hard it
25
is?
seconds. Like if I'm telling you,
Right.
if the corners cover their man for the first 6 seconds of a play, they have succeeded. If something gets busted up and goes crazy,
It ought to be it ought to be less than 6. It ought to be like
Right.
4. If you're not at the quarterback in 4 seconds, you've got a defensive line problem.
right. So I think like you just have to twist your perspective on that one, Randy. Joe Burrow would not miss those throws. Don't get me wrong, he probably wouldn't. But he's not going to have those opportunities because he cannot stretch a play like Lamar Jackson. So
And again,
it's not nothing to worry about.
What throws are we actually talking about here? Are we
He's talking about the missed throw to
That's what I'm
Zay
saying.
Flowers.
Zay Flowers?
Yeah,
who
this
was
kind of stuff.
who was in a zone defense, by the way, and a safety allowed that, not a corner.
Right. So yeah, I think go back and rewatch it, and then look at the stats on these corners. There's no reason to be worried about the corners right now. Will it get to that point? Am I saying that they're going to be perfect next week? No, but they played a good game in the opener, so I think nothing to worry about as far as I'm concerned. We'll see how it goes though.
Yeah. Do we have a birthday in the house? I could have swore it was Brenda's birthday. Was it Brenda's birthday? Is it somebody's birthday?
It's Brenda's, I think. Brenda, is it your birthday?
Is it Brenda?
I don't know. I think it was Brenda.
Just gonna give a shout out if it was. Don't want to get it wrong if it's not. Not trying to age Brenda. I know how it is. I don't want to be aged any more than it already is.
Happy birthday, Brenda.
It is Brenda's birthday. Somebody said it's Josh's birthday too. Josh and Brenda.
Which
Happy
Josh?
birthday.
Which Josh is?
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Hold up. I was a little parched. Feliz Navidad. Prospero el año y felicidad.
Happy birthday, Brenda and Josh.
Happy birthday. You know, it takes a special, only on a special day do you get the voice of an angel to sing to you.
Jeez. Toot toot, baby, toot
I'm
toot.
just playing.
I know. What's going on, Richie? See ya. Appreciate that, man. Hope you're having a good night. Trish, tell us how you did you have fun at the game? I know you were planning on going. Did you go and did you have a good time? Let us know.
I bet Trish had a hell of a time. Look, this is how much I think about the ACU crew. When I first got the report that there was lightning in the area and raining,
Did you get scared?
my first thought was, Trish is at that game. I hope they're getting them evacuated. You know, don't want nobody struck by lightning or nothing. That'd be a bad time. So yeah, see, I'm just out here. I'm thinking about the crew. I'm doing the Lord's work, and the thanks I get, people are mean to me.
Who's mean to you?
Boy, you should read those internet comments.
Man, Mike had a lot of fun with the post-game short, and I've had a lot of fun with it too. Like, obviously, you guys are part of the crew. You guys have been around. You know how we do. It's the post-game. It's always it's just outright outrageous, right? Like, it's a joke. It's fun. It's good times. Like, oh, we know that it was
It's
a toe.
sarcasm, dude.
Right. People don't get it. It's just so over their heads. And you'll have 500 comments in this last short that's just like, how are you going to say this was, what did you call it, a dog walk?
Yeah.
How are you going to say it was a dog walk when they lost by a toe, man?
My favorite's the one that don't have a clue who we are, right? And they'll be like, I'm a Chiefs fan, and we only won by 6 points, man. You got to delete this.
Y'all are making other people hate us.
Y'all making Chiefs fans look bad.
Come on.
Shut up.
Get a sense of humor,
Steve,
man.
It's the internet. When did the internet lose its chill? I thought the internet was fun.
It used to
Okay,
be.
it's not. It's just nothing but a bunch of Karens and know-it-alls. And you know what? I'll just bait them in for content, you know? I'm just going to keep every game. You know how I do the game wrap-ups. I do them funny.
They're funny, yeah.
I do them sarcastic. I make every team win or lose. Even when we lose, I talk about how we beat the team. Like, it's hilarious. I'm like, the Chiefs won today, but the refs didn't count it properly, or the scoreboard man messed up. Like, I'm just joking. Chill.
Just joshing with you.
Just joshing. That's always been a weird comment, right? The joshing.
It is. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, Trish. It's okay. We were actually at I think it was back when, do you remember when the Chiefs played the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey were going back and forth? Just talking trash here and there. That was back when Jalen Ramsey said he was only a kick returner. or
Yeah.
punt returner. And then Tyreek burned his ass in the game. We were at that game, and great seats that game, by the way. Shout out Pops. But we were getting rained on the whole game, too. So it's totally worth it, though. Totally worth it, Brenda. Glad you had a good time. Mike, shout out our boy Greg Goodwin with another 5-bomb. He says, F all the haters and the tit bags. I like that one.
Well, what's a tit bag?
He broke out the tit bag, son.
What is that?
I don't know, but I love it. Appreciate the gas, Greg. You're the man. And
Some
I like.
gas
I always
for that
love when
ass.
there's a new kind of insult. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Look, sometimes I'll write down things that I want to tell people, and then I just pray that it comes along, man. Wait, about time. Well, hold up a second. He says, I want to get tickets to the Atlanta game, but absolutely hate Atlanta. Me too. Like, I wanted to go watch the Falcons game, but it's like, I don't know if I really want to drive to Atlanta to watch it.
Atlanta's not that cool, man. Sorry if you're from there, anybody, but
Atlanta's one of the only cities that I've probably drove through probably about 10 times in my life, and I've never stopped to do anything in Atlanta. Like, not to watch a Braves game, not to see a Falcons. Like, I've not done anything in Atlanta.
And driving through Atlanta sucks.
16 lanes
Miserable.
of chaos, bro. It is insane. Like, these people don't sleep either. You can go through Atlanta at 2 in the morning and it is bumper to bumper traffic. Like, apparently they're horned up down in Atlanta 24/7, just out street racing on 65. I don't know what they're doing. I bet K Wayne loves it down there in Atlanta.
Mike,
Let's play Where in the World's K Wayne. Why haven't we played that
Hold on
yet?
real quick. Anthony said tip bag doesn't sound half bad. Can I get 2 of those, please? Let's freaking go.
Oh.
Well, Texas Tech has short.
Yeah, tip bag in. Let's go.
A little horned up. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do
Tell
it.
me where in the world is
K Wayne.
Hopefully K Wayne's still hanging around because we are playing the game. So somebody has to tell us where he's at. Geez, Mike, if I'm remembering right, I'm down 6-2, and it's your turn to go.
Yeah, I won the last one, man. So look, we have no idea. We haven't played Where's K Wayne in what? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? We have no idea where K Wayne is. So this is a complete guess. Okay, I'll go first. Here's what I say. I'm going to say K Wayne is let's put him. I'm going to say Detroit, Michigan. Let's just go with the old faithful here. Let's go with Detroit.
Going Detroit.
A little Detroit. He's up there. He's visiting. He's on 8 Mile hanging out with Eminem. He's having a Detroit-style pizza with Bob Seger. I don't know what he's doing, but he's up there.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one. Last I talked to K Wayne a few days ago, he was at. This was before the game. He was
Oh,
in.
gosh. I may have screwed up.
He was in Las Vegas.
He was in Vegas just a few days ago.
Yeah,
It was the
man.
day of the game, right? Or the day before?
I don't know. I remember he said if we had to start it where it ended last year.
Oh, daggone. I may have screwed that one up then.
So I don't know.
Steve,
But
you have a chance here.
it's been quite a few days since then. Don't think he's still out west. Geez, bro, this is tough. And you took normally if you take like Michigan or Ohio, you're kind of in the vicinity. I'm here. I'm
What's-
gonna go.
What's Cole and K Wayne's picture?
I took that picture.
What is
I
happening?
took that
bro?
picture. You like that? Look at that beautiful photography.
I
there.
really thought that was K Wayne for a second. Then I did a double glance.
I'm gonna go with. Shoot, I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go further than you.
You're
No,
thinking
I
hard
can't.
about this today. You're pulling a mic here. You're trying to win, huh?
I just don't know because you went Michigan, so it makes it tough for me. Because I could go Florida. K Wayne's in Florida a lot, but then if I'm off, I'm done because Florida's so far
You
away
got to
from
play it
everything.
right. Like if you're trying to play the game,
playing the
you're just gonna
Price
have
is
to play
Right
like
here.
Indy or Chicago or something, aren't you?
I'm gonna take Illinois. I'm gonna say
You're going to Chicago, huh?
let's go. Yeah, I'll go Chicago, Illinois. Let's do it. We're right beside
This
each
could
other.
be Steve. If he's south, this is going to be a heck of a match because we're both at the tippity top. Okay, we could throw a
Tippy-tip.
rock and hit Canada right now, both of us.
All right, where you at, K Wayne? Let's know. Man, come on. Be in Chicago. Get some pizza.
What's he doing?
Get your little Lou Malnati.
Where's he at? I hope he's having a Detroit style.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in a minute. We'll find out. But once again, while we're waiting on K Wayne, just wanted to say thanks for you guys being here again. We're trying to get back on I know it's difficult to have like a scheduled live stream time because of the season and the different days they play on and everything. But what we're aiming for is the tailgate to be on Saturday night and then having the Wednesday night war rooms like we used to. So like Wednesday, Saturday. Obviously, if they're playing Thursday game or Monday game, well, it'll go a little bit here and there. But appreciate you guys being here.
Yep.
Where you at, K Wayne? Wake up and tell us where you're at, brother.
K Wayne, where are
Dang,
you?
you're still in Vegas, brother. I could have won, but I
You
did
still-
win.
I think you may have still
Woohoo.
won.
Oh, I did. You said Detroit. I said Chicago.
Yeah, I think you're closer, man.
See, playing the prices right wins sometimes. It makes it happen. You don't have to look that up.
I'm looking it up. I want
You
to
have
see
to
how
look that
close
up.
you was.
Chicago's west of Detroit.
Steve, you
so-
were 1,747 miles away.
and I still
Anyway,
won.
What are you still doing in Vegas, bro? You're running my life here with this.
He's out there gambling or something. He's not even working.
He must be, man. You were 1,747. I want to see how bad I am. Yep, I was 2,000 off. So Detroit to Chicago is about 500 miles. No, it's about 300 miles. Dang. Okay, well, Steve, 6'3". You're
go,
pulling
baby.
You're pulling closer.
I got to
here.
make a comeback.
Making a comeback. I knew I should have I should have said K Wayne was at home in Kansas, and I would have won.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
That's great. Hey,
What's
as long
going
as you're
on,
out there
Talon?
doing something great, just
Yeah.
pissing off Raiders fans or whatever you're doing, that's a good time.
All right. Well, we're going to be here a few more minutes tonight. So get your questions in. If you have any questions about the game, we'll get back talking about the game just a little bit more. And then after this, man, it's onward to the Bungles. The Bungles.
bunghole.
Now, this is going to be an Arrowhead
This is-
too, right?
Yeah, and look, this is going to be just a bad week. You're going to start seeing us getting infiltrated by all these, like, look at me guys from Cincinnati.
It's okay.
They hate us. Okay.
If there's
I
one
want- we
game
had a
that
death
like,
threat. in
if there's one
Cincinnati.
game I hate losing, it's Cincinnati though. So Chiefs, you need to be on your A game this week. Don't want to hear those morons all year because good Lord.
We've got to we got to beat them to death. It's got to be a massacre at Arrowhead.
Greg, appreciate the 2-bomb, brother. I can't
31-10 maybe is what I want to see.
Can't put that one on the screen, but appreciate the 2-bomb. Man, yeah, so that's the one game I don't want the Chiefs to lose just because their fans are so insanely obnoxious.
Oh my God, they're horrible.
Absolutely insane. Like, if they lost the game, I don't really care for the aspect that, okay, you lost the game to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, big deal, whatever. But just what we have to put up with from their fans, I don't want to lose it. Come on, Chiefs.
Dude,
do
just
us a solid
thinking
here.
about it right now
Think about your fan base.
hurts my entire life. Like, I can't do it. I want to take myself to a chili joint.
This is it. And
talk
we're at home,
smack.
so it can't be Burrowhead again, I don't want to hear that dumb crap. Okay, Wayne, I know you did, but I didn't know you were still there. That was before Thursday.
Yeah, that was a Wednesday or Thursday maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't still think you were hanging. What are you doing? You broke down? You changing your tire? What are you doing still there? You driving
Hey.
circles?
Shout out Mike Johnson. This guy comments every freaking piece of content we do. He always catches it and leaves a comment. So shout out Mike. Hope you have a good night, brother. Thanks for the gas.
Have a good one.
Yeah, man. So
You think Jamar Chase will be back?
yeah, no, I don't know,
He
man.
won't miss us.
He's such a jerk, though. He might
will
miss.
not
He
miss the
might
Chiefs
miss it
game.
just for the fact where he won't have to take the heat for the loss, and he gets to hold out. He made the comment the other day. It was, he just wants one more penny than Justin Jefferson. Then he made the comment that he wants to beat the hell out of Justin Jefferson. He ain't talking no penny. So I mean, I hope he don't. It is what it is. But T. Higgins is not even playing this week, as far as I know. So they could be in some trouble.
Jamar Chase is a fart stick. I don't
He
even know
is,
really what
dude.
that is, but that just reminds me. Like if somebody said that word to me, I'd be like, Jamar Chase. That's what I'm going to think of in my head. He annoys me to no end.
Ugly face, ugly
If
personality.
you told me that we just had to have I don't even know. Give me Kadarius Toney back on the roster, and I just had to have him as my wide receiver one, or have to put up with Jamar Chase. I'd almost just take Kadarius Toney out of principle.
Yeah, I really don't like.
He
Jamar
annoys
Chase.
me to
He's
no
annoying.
end. I'll lose every game with Toney before I'll put up with that idiot.
I agree. All right, Mike. Just real quick, let's do a couple takeaways from the game, which we gave a lot of them. But what's the main takeaway? If you had to boil it down to one, what's your one takeaway from the opening night game against the Ravens? As
Yeah.
far as, I guess, the takeaway, how's it looking for the rest of the year? What do you think?
The big takeaway I seen is that the defense wasn't as far off as we thought they may be. Again, I thought Nick Bolton struggled just a little bit, but the rest of the defense was kind of there. The CB2 was kind of not a big deal. We've proved this. The safeties could get a little better. Chamari missed a few tackles. They could let Jaden Hicks play a little bit. I think they get better. I think they'll let that happen. The main takeaway, though, from the entire game for me is that the offense feels more close to getting back to the actual Chiefs' high-powered offense. That's to me. And the fact that Hollywood, again, haven't heard a lot with Hollywood. Is he going to be able to play this week? I would think he could maybe get in there and play. We'll see. If he's not practicing by, say, Wednesday, he's probably not playing.
Right.
So, yeah, if they can get him back, I think it steps up a notch. But even without him, I think we're still good enough to beat the Bengals. I think the Bengals' defense is a little worse than it was last year. I really do. They lost Master Bates. They've lost a few guys. Didn't they lose Burnt Toast too?
Bates was gone last year. I think he played or was that this year he went to the Falcons?
I was thinking it was this year.
Either way, I did say one take, but it's cool if you want to take two and take mine. That's all right.
Oh, what was your take?
My takeaway is the offense. I think
We'll take it a step further and say your take is Xavier Worthy actually looked like he may be a force. It's that brother connection. I already know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say right now. You're so mad at me.
No, what was I going to say? I was waiting.
He's going to say, shut up.
Shut up. What? I said shut up.
Good call.
Called that too.
Called it. No, but for real, that is exactly what I was going to say. I think my biggest takeaway from the game is the offense is way more high-powered than what we saw last year. And yes, they did stall out on the other team's side of the field a couple times and made, field goals instead of touchdowns. I understand that. But I think we're to a point to where that's going to go away. I think that's a problem that will get figured out and solved because it's just too much firepower there, man. I was thinking about that. Like, Juju didn't have a great game. He only had like 9 snaps, and he dropped that one ball. But, I mean, it was a valiant effort there. But Juju's got to get back in the swing of things. But just thinking about that, man, like when Hollywood comes back, the way that Xavier Worthy, it looks like he's more than speed. He's a smart football player. Just thinking about Juju underneath, what Rashee Rice was able to accomplish in the middle of the field. Yeah. Travis Kelce literally was a decoy the entire game, bro. And our offense still looked pretty good.
He was the big D.
He was the big D. There's just so many options for Patrick Mahomes this year. And then if you can get, like, I noticed they were not connected on the passes to running backs. I mentioned that earlier.
Timing was a little off, wasn't it?
If they can get that down, that becomes a whole nother story. Because P. Ryan is a great receiving back.
Steve,
Pacheco,
I wanted so bad to say PP on the PP, but P. Ryan dropped.
PP on the PP.
But he did take one for like 10, right? He looked pretty good.
P.
on
Ryan's
that
going to be he's going to be an asset for us. But I just think this offense, especially the way the offensive line looked, by the way,
yeah,
it's going to be a force this year. So I'm excited about it.
You know who P. Ryan kind of reminds me of when I see him without his helmet and stuff?
Who?
This guy.
Struggling with it.
Yeah. I
He
can see it.
reminds
It's
me
the
of him,
beard,
dude.
brother.
It's the beard. He's got a bald head, though. He needs to get them dreads so we can say, struggling with it.
Yeah, but just one last point I want to make on what I was saying. We played potentially one of the best defenses in the National Football League the first game of the season and did what we did. So things are only going to look up.
Yeah.
Real quick, Perry says, do y'all think we will see Hollywood or do they hold him out one more week? I would imagine they'll probably take their time with Hollywood because what's the point?
Yeah, you got one win. I think everybody thought if you could split the first two, you were in pretty good shape, especially with Hollywood missing. So we did squeak out the win. They could go ahead and let Hollywood just rest up. Because the worst thing to do is put Hollywood back in there and then hurt him again. Because if that thing ever separates again, he won't play for another 8 weeks.
Right.
They will not take a chance on that thing separating again for a third time. They won't do it. So,
Yeah. K. Wayne says, I think our defense is going to be a little worse this year than last year, but I think our offense is going to be a lot better. I think I'm right there with you, K. Wayne. I don't think we're going to have as an elite defense as we did last year because we were easily top 5 last year, probably top 3. They were just clicking on all cylinders, but I think they're still going to be good, but they will take a bit of a step back. But I think the offense is going to be so much better that it can compensate for that and then some. Because I'm thinking about like even games like the one coming up against the Bengals, even if they do end up being full strength, Jamar plays, T. Higgins is back, whatever it is, Joe Burrow's healthy. The thing about it is they're not going to beat you if you can go out and put up 38, 40 points on the board.
right.
It's not happening. So if you don't have a defense that can keep Patrick Mahomes from scoring 40 points, you're not beating the Chiefs. So, I mean, that's the kind of the thing about it. This offense has just got to turn field goals into touchdowns, and it's going to be nasty for teams this year trying to take the Chiefs down.
Yep, I agree, man. Hey, just going to let you guys know, if you haven't got on Patreon, it's only $1, uno dinero, okay?
Uno
And we're giving away this bad boy on there.
un dollar.
We got a Jawan Taylor. All chiefed up pylon, baby.
Let's go. Straight from the football field, straight from the game.
Straight from the game. I don't know what game it was from, but you got a Jawan Taylor pylon. And look, just going to say,
Just sign up and you can win that bad boy.
you won't get a false start for doing it either.
Speaking of Patreon, I did mention this. We got some stuff getting ready to drop over there. It's been a few weeks. It's been a hectic few weeks between us going to Kansas City, going to camp, the season kicking
Yes.
off, all that stuff. So if you're a member over there, be on the lookout. We're getting ready to drop some stuff over there. And yeah, it's just $1 a month and you have a chance to win something. Also, just want to remind you guys, if you're not a member, you should become one because we're giving away a signed Justin Ross jersey on our members only live stream coming up here
Do you see
in just
Justin
about a
Ross's
week.
signature right there? Do you see it through the bag?
Yeah, see it, man.
There
So
you
if you
go.
want to get
Justin
your
Ross,
hands on
baby.
that bad boy, we'll be pulling out the wheel of death on the members only live stream.
We will be.
Yep. Shout out Flip. Flip's in the house with the 5 bomb. What's up, my man? He says, do y'all think FAU will have his first sack this season in week 2? Our defensive line definitely needs to get in there ASAP to help our cornerbacks. Agreed. So anyone that was worried about our cornerbacks, it's still mind-boggling to me because our pass rush, albeit good, Chris Jones was an absolute menace. They weren't as good as they could have been.
Yeah.
And I think the better they get, when we get O'Menahue back, it might be a whole different ballgame.
I think when Cam Thomas starts rotating, it'll be better.
But yeah, I think Felix has got to he's got to break through sometime. I think Felix is too good of a football player. One thing Mike pointed out that could be the big issue with Felix. Felix did make a couple of good plays in the game, by the way, if you go back and watch. But he was not by any means a huge factor.
Yeah, he recovered that fumble, right?
Yeah, he also made another good tackle, but he was not a big factor by any means. Not what a first-round draft pick should be. Essentially second round, but either way.
Yeah.
But Mike pointed out, he's so slow getting off the snap. Like, so slow. He's the last one that reacting to that snap, dude. If he can get that down a little bit better, I think that could solve a lot of his problems. So
Yeah.
maybe eventually it's going to click. If he keeps working with the veterans, he keeps working with George, he keeps working with Tamba, he's learning things here and there, I think he'll get to where he needs to be. He might not ever be like a world beater, superstar, but I think Felix can be a pretty solid football player.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll get there. Like, he'll, man, I don't even know. I don't think he's going to get there this year, though, in my opinion. I just don't. But I don't think he's going to be as bad as, like, I think his relevance will pick up a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he's not always just going to be, like, overlooked. I think there will be a few games that he makes a few plays that were like, hey, Felix. Like, he did recover the fumble, right? He recovered the strip sack. He was on the field for that. So, you know, right place, right time.
Yeah, true. Anthony says y'all should change the Matt Castle membership level to Trent Green. I think we should probably. That's something we
Yeah,
can look
people's
into
been
doing.
begging for that for a while.
We might do it. Look, Anthony, you started something. We might actually go do that, brother. Speaking of memberships and the tiers and things like that, you should definitely become a member, first of all. No matter which tier you pick, you need to be on that. But we do want to start doing more members-only content. That's something that me and Mike have been talking about a lot. So we normally do a one members-only live stream a month. We'd like to look at doing more than that. We might look at doing exclusive ones for higher tiers. And we're also thinking about maybe doing some members only content as far as videos and things like that. So that's something that's in the works as well. Just want to throw that out there. But if you're not a member, you should become one. Be part of the ACU crew. Let's grow that bad boy, by the way. Let's do it. Let's get it going. It's going to be a fun season, dude. We're chasing history here.
Yep.
And right on cue, baby. He said, look, I understand it's called Matt Castle, but I'll do it anyway because I support the show.
So nobody wants it because it was the Matt Castle tier?
That's definitely it. Appreciate you, Anthony. Welcome aboard. Let's go. But yeah, man, I guess we're going to go ahead and get out of here for the night. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Do us a favor, hit that like button on the way out if you have not. Mike, did you want to shout out FOCO real quick before we head out? We haven't shouted out our friends over at FOCO in a minute. They have some cool stuff in the works.
Yeah, so FOCO sent out a thing, and they want us to push it to you guys. Again, if you're a collector, this is something awesome. They had 2 things that come out, and this one was pretty badass, if I'll say so. It's only 100 of these printed.
I love this one, dude.
Him and McCole Hardman, and it comes with the Sports Illustrated like bobblehead. Like these are bobbleheads, by the way. So I mean, it comes with that. It's like the commemorative bobblehead of him catching the touchdown pass. It's pretty cool. There's only 100 being made. Okay, you can click the FOCO link in the description, and it'll take you there. But this one's pretty awesome too. They released both of these. It's a huddle, and this thing spins.
That's
so the
pretty cool.
bobblehead spins. So all their heads are bobbling and they're spinning. It's got Pacheco, Mahomes, Kelsey, and I don't know who the other 2 are. I can't really see them
I think
here.
it's Nick
but
Bolton.
Yeah, it's somebody here. But look, those are 2 pretty sweet bobbleheads, and they're collectors as well. I think this one has got less, like 100 as well. So they're super limited. They're hard to get your hands on.
Right.
Yeah. So just click our link down there, FOCO, in the description. We'll get it in the description after the show, or I'm pretty sure you can just, click the description on the screen. Here, I'll put it up really quick. And yeah, just go over there, do that if you want. It's something cool. If not, it's not a big deal. Just let them know that, that we're shouting them out.
Speaking of, I saw where they ordered us one of the 100. Okay, we get one. And I was just going to ask you, brother to brother here, right on the live stream. Can I have that?
Which one is it? The McCole Hardman one?
Yeah. And look, and you know how I am with McCole Hardman, but that's pretty sweet, brother.
Yeah, since you hate McCole Hardman, I'll give it to you.
I really like that one. I thought it was neat that they did
It's cool.
Right before, you just won the Super Bowl. He's getting ready to tell McCole Hardman, hey, buddy, we just won the Super Bowl. I thought that was a cool one.
They should have done one with Mahomes laying on the ground where he'd done the dive. But how do you lay down and have a bobblehead wiggling?
I don't know.
Dude, you could have done the Andy Reid. You remember when Andy Reid tackled Chris Jones? So Chris Jones is on the ground, Andy Reid saying, bobblehead over the top of him.
Better yet, you could have
That'd
one of Travis Kelce hitting Andy Reid and Andy Reid's head bobbling.
Yeah, his head bobbles. It just automatically smacks into him, and he's like,
yeah, that'd be a good one.
that's funny, dude.
Yeah, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hit that like button on the way out, and we'll catch you next time.
Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.